Hey everyone, how you doing out there? Oh, well, happy Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday. Yay! Oh, sorry. So let's go over here and get onto the comments over here. So I see you all's in the house here and do a little talking to everybody. And let's see, first I want to get something else here set up here first before I jump over there. Okay, that's a pretty good. Okay, so first one in the house when I posted this was that guy, followed by WD Glock and Roll, and then Courtney at Wide Family Farm. Then it looks like we got a new one, or this one I haven't recognized in quite a while. Joaquin in Memphis. Joaquin. All right. Hope I got that name right. And down here, everyone's talking back and forth. Keep coming up here. Then Jay comes in. Hey, Jay. And then Michael 58. And Freaky Geek comes in. Drops Family Garden. Hey, guys. Kaylin Strain's in the house. All right. Mary Beth Smith. Teresa and Lee from Stringfield Ridge Farm. Southern Blessed Homestead. Carol of Fishes and Loaves Life. How to Garden. Getting started on homesteading. Never enough time. And I froze up again. Sorry about that.
Howie's here.
Our Treasured Home. And then Howie at Food Forest Permaculture. And we're caught up here. All right. And anybody else that comes in, welcome. And those are just lurking in the background, watching and not leaving messages, that's fine too. You're welcome too. All righty. Well, before we get into tonight's topic of what is off-grid, there's something else I need to talk to everybody about here. I'm going to do it now, and I'm going to do it at the end too, because people come and go, and I want to make sure everybody knows about this. All right. So yesterday I was contacted by Courtney at Wide Family Farm, and she let me know of that something was going on, and she has started a GoFundMe account for another homesteader that's in need. So I'm going to bring this up here. All right, and this is her video. This is the thumbnail from it. Help Save Jess, and that's keto homesteading with Jess. Is having some problems. So I'm going to just play a little bit of this video here right now.
Hey everybody. I don't even know where to begin. My name is Courtney from Wide Family Farm, and I want to let you know about someone who is special in my life, who has helped me get subscribers, who I go live with.
Oops.
And her name is Jess. Jess has been going through a really, really, really hard time, and she needs your support. Her name on YouTube is Keto Homestead with Jess, and she is on the verge of losing her house and everything she owns. So if you could, I'm doing a shout out. If you could, I linked her GoFundMe page in this description, and it would be really nice if you could go there and donate.
Okay, so I'm going to throw the link to this video into the chat right now, and this is Courtney's video, V-I-D-O. All right, there's Courtney's video, and this is the GoFundMe page. And so I'm going to put the link to the GoFundMe page, and since it says GoFundMe right at the beginning, I'm not going to worry about that. See what goes in there. Okay, good. It went in there. All right, and to get it from the horse's mouth, This is a video that just put out on the 24th, talking a little bit what's going on. She's had, and the last one here is Jess's video here. She's had a back injury. She's had surgery on it, and she was recovering and then injured it again. And she's trying to get the state to recognize her disability. And so she's working on trying to get things done, and it's being really tough for her. So that's one of the shout out I want to do. I think I've been on Jess's live streams myself. She is the coolest of women. All right, and she's been married to her husband, I guess about 10 years or so, whatever. But this property's been in his family's for like 80 years or something, I believe the one thing said. And so he inherited it, and now it looks like they're going to lose it because of political crap with her disability and stuff. So guys, if you can, go to the GoFundMe, and if you can $5, $10, whatever, to help her. They've got a $6,000 goal trying to reach by March. So April 1st, I think it is. So yeah, check it out, and help Jess out. Okay, let's see who else popped in here. Okay, Raven Cat Homestead, Cecilia came in. Brett, Broussard Homestead. I saw someone else up here. Duncan, 1900 Homestead came in. Who else came in here? Welcome, everybody. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. And yes, my internet service it's better than Sparklight. Sparklight would freeze me out for 5 minutes at a time. And then poor Uncle Al would be stuck here by himself trying to carry on the live stream. All right, so let's get, let me take that down. And let's get back to the topic tonight is, what is off-grid? Well, a lot of people in the last month across the South have found out, what it's like to be off the grid, not by their choice. Texas especially. My sister was down in Spring, Texas, and they lost power there. And fortunately, her one son lives right next to a hospital or a school that was designated as, we do not shut power off to this little block grid thing here. So she went over and stayed with her son, hauled all the stuff out of her freezer and refrigerator over there. And when she came back, the water line in front of her house froze and broke. Jewel, Small Gardening, hey, how you doing? And so a lot of people found out what being off-grid is a little bit about, but not by choice. But if you're off-grid by choice, it's actually pretty, those that were off-grid, and when this happened, they were like, that's cool, we're good, we got our power. So, but exactly, being off-grid, you need to know, what is the grid? So we're going to spend a couple minutes talking about what is the grid. So what we have here is a diagram of the grid. You have a power station. The power station, whether it's coal, natural gas, hydroelectric, geothermal, it's a power generating station, as opposed to a solar power station and a wind farm. It feeds it into transformers, to transmission lines, to transmission substations, more transmission lines to distribution substations, blah, 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 down to the streets. Well, the whole thing is a grid network, and that's why it's called the grid. And if you really want to know a good example of why it's called the grid, there you go. It's laid out like a grid, like these houses are. The power lines are underground here. They're, sometimes they're above ground, but it's laid out in a grid format. All right, and so here is a, you see this? This is the grid. This is the big heavy voltage of the grid. This is not the grid. This is off the grid. You see, there are no power lines coming to this place. So, exactly, I mentioned a little bit about where power comes from. Well, let's take a little more in depth to it. So this is a pulverized coal-fired power station. You have your coal bunker. The coal is fed into a pulverizer. The coal dust is injected into the furnace under the boiler, and fine coal dust explodes almost. It's almost like spraying gasoline in there. And it's a very hot fire. And what it does, it turns the water into steam. The steam comes over, turns the steam turbine. It turns the generator. It has cool condensers and all this other fun stuff there, and has your transformer breaker, and it heads off the transmission line. Well, so this is the general thing of a coal-fired. Now, if it was natural gas, you wouldn't have the coal bunker and stuff. You just have the natural gas feeding into the boiler and firing it off. Now, if it was a what's called bunker oil or an oil-fired station, same thing. You just have the oil being sprayed in there to the injectors and firing. All right. So the next one, hydroelectric, where you have a dam or a long feed. But generally, they all have dams, so they maintain a certain level of water, headwater above it, comes down, turns the water turbine, which turns the generator, and goes up, and then you have your outlet or your tail feed from the dam. This is probably the most green of any solar generating system there is. It is more green than solar panels and stuff, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Squirrely acres, where the nets come together. Hey guys, how you doing? So the next type here, we got wind. And some people say, well, wind is really...
Rose again?
Not really. Green is, solar, it's not that green because I'm from California originally, got out of there. There's a place close to where I used to live there called the Altamont Pass. And the wind blows through the Altamont Pass 100% of the time. And they have huge wind farms out there. And they got a lot of dead birds. Also, the blades on these things are not recyclable. When they wear out, they have to go to a landfill. They cannot be recycled. It's the way they're made.
Right. And worse if it flies off, and if you're driving a car like one guy, was it 2 years ago, got harpooned in his car by one of those blades? Not a pretty sight. Yeah.
And these things here, they have pitch controllers on them. And if the pitch controller freezes and a really hard gust comes, it can overspin and fry the entire tower.
Yep.
Right. So after wind generation, geothermal. This is right up there with the, sorry, brain fart, guys. Water with hydroelectric. Basically what they do is they find where there's a hot water, hot springs type system, and they drill down into it, tap it, bring the water, the steam up, run it through the turbine, take it over, cool it, turn it to cool, and injection back down in, and injected the cooler water back in. It reheats and goes around and around and around. Okay, now the next system is the I always mispronounce it. Basically,
photovoltaic. But you got me doing it.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
You know what we're talking about.
Solar panels that generate electricity. They have the real scientific name for it. I wish Reed was able to make it. Hey, Lone Star Preps. Hey, Prep for it. Cajun Prepsteader. We got some more coming in here. All righty. So, Cajun Prepsteader. All right. Brett switched accounts. So he's getting ready to say something nasty. No. Yeah. Guys, tomorrow night, just while I'm thinking about it, if you look on the chat there, the Cajun Prepsteader, that's Brett Bouchard. He's going to be going live tomorrow night. He'll be sending out the time once he figures it out. But that's going to be a more controversial. That's his controversial channel where he doesn't want to discuss stuff on his family-friendly channel. So Anyways, and then here's another solar system that is basically all of these are reflective mirrors. Look at this, acres and acres and acres of reflective mirrors. They reflect the sunlight up onto this tower up here, this real white hot spot here. That's a tank that is being superheated by all these mirrors shining the sun on it. And it basically what it does, it turns the liquid in there to steam, runs it down to the power plant down below here, turns the steam turbines, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This, other than the setup on this to make all these mirrors, to make everything, once it's all done, it's a fairly, really green system, except when a cloud comes over. A cloud comes over and all of a sudden it's not heating anything. All right, so that's the grid and the different type of stuff powering it. So let's move on here. Oh yeah, that's right, Jay. The mirrors need a lot of maintenance. They got a lot of people out there cleaning the mirrors, getting the dust off the mirrors. Yeah.
At night, they have a whole crew goes up there and wipe down all the mirrors.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what is off-grid? Well, it means you are not connected to any of these commercial power supplies. So hey, but if I want power, how do I get power if I'm not connected to a commercial power supplier? Well, I was hoping to get a couple of channels in here, and I think most of you, or no, some of you have seen them. I know I've been on out there with them. There's Dave at Imaginator Wood up in northern Idaho, totally off grid. Jeremy at Living the Dream off grid, totally off grid. Martin Johnson, totally off grid. Scott, who's been on my channel several times, and he was going to try to get on tonight, but he got out of work late, has a cabin up there, which is totally off grid. So, so basically, most people think of this when they think of off grid. Well, nowadays, that's not the case. There are a lot of farmers that are going off grid because, hey, they got all these barn roofs here and they can put solar panels all over the barn roofs and have all sorts of power. And hey, guess what? If they finance it right and use all the government incentives, they can put enough on there where they are actually selling power back to the power company and they're getting paid to pay off their solar panels. Good deal, guys. But you got to, the initial setup on it does cost a little money, but if you can find all the programs and stuff, you can get it just about for free to start with. Now, a big thing, especially in California, Arizona, New Mexico, and I believe they're starting to do it in Texas as well, is the hybrid home systems. And it's where they have some solar panels on their property, feeds it into a special hybrid inverter. It provides DC down into a battery bank. And then when the house needs power, it draws it from the battery bank and converts it to AC and takes it into the house. And if the house is drawing more than what is being provided by the panels, it can draw from the power lines. Also, if the house is not using any power, like when you're at work and nobody's home and it's collecting all this energy all day long and the battery bank is full, it feeds the power to the power company and you get paid for it. The big drawback to this, guys, if the power company has an outage, it doesn't matter if you have solar panels or not. If there's an outage, the way that the laws are written, like I know, especially in California, if you're connected to the grid and have this type system, it shuts off the inverter when the power goes out. So solar panels can't even charge your batteries. You can't draw it. You're out of luck until the power comes back on. And that's one of the things that it works on is it works on a premise that the power grid is never going to go down. Now, there are some other ones where they what they do is they are set up with a manual transfer switch so that either they're on the grid totally or they're off the grid totally. And you can go out there and switch. If you're running low, you can go out there and turn yourself back on the grid. but your solar system is totally separated from the grid, so they can't accidentally feed power back into the line if they're working on it. Excuse me. Gotta get something to drink here, guys. Stand by.
While Gil's rehydrating, remember these systems are usually you have to put in a little investment for it, and you got to check on your roof and also electrical system, because if your wiring in the house is not up to code, guess what you have to do with that?
Rewire the house.
Yeah. People forget that.
Yeah, but in California, Arizona, and a few of the states, there is both federal and state grant monies available, programs to get it done, to get this done. Now, other type hybrid systems are where they have the photoelectric array. They also have a wind turbine as well. Some even have the fuel cells, which can either run off of hydrogen or methane or even propane to generate electricity as well. And they run through the system, and then they can either feed it to the house or back to the power company. Again, these systems have to have a shut off here on it that shuts everything down, so there's no power going anywhere when the main utility grid is down. Okay, so hey, you can put these up on your own house and have a subsystem. That's what I had in California. I had a whole mess of these on the roof up there, and I had a big.
Call it photovoltaic.
Yes, there you go. Hey, Kathy, North Star Prepsteader is in the house. Woohoo!
That's a brain fart right there.
And what I had is I had a battery bank box set up, and my solar powers kept that battery bank charged. Well, the battery bank provided power to the chest freezer, the upright freezer, and I froze again.
Yep.
And to a window AC unit I had in the bedroom, because running the AC for the entire house during the summer in California is like committing financial suicide.
Yes.
I mean, it's just incredibly expensive. So with the way I had to sleep when my shifts I was working, I needed to get to sleep at 6 o'clock in the evening because I was at work at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had a commute to get there. So we had this AC unit running off of solar panels to cool the bedroom off. So when I had to go to bed, it wasn't 110 degrees in the bedroom. I could actually go in there and go to sleep. So a lot of people do this. They just supplement certain things. Some of them run all their refrigerator and freezer on it. Some run their entertainment center on it, and it's not connected to the grid in any way, shape, or form. And so you don't have to worry about that stuff.
Is there anybody on the down below, and you see anybody showing up?
No, nobody else is coming in. Why?
Because I just saw Butch and Dave.
Butch, I see Butch. You saw Dave?
Yep. Of Southern Ohio Prepping, who's moving today. Hi, Liberty.
Oh, there he is. Oh, he's just stopping in for a moment to say hi. Okay. Hey, Dave. Yeah, Dave is moving out of his apartment into a smaller one. Now, this is an example of a Southern California house where there's photo panels all over the roof. I'm going to point out something here, which is why I picked this photo, guys. The house I'm in now that we bought from Brandon used to have 3 or 4 skylights on it. Brandon, when he re-roofed the house, had him take out the skylights, patch the holes, and just put a 50-year roof on the whole house. But the reason why I had him get rid of the skylights is in the wintertime, he said you could feel the cold coming down from the skylights because they weren't very well insulated, and it was just cold air coming down into the house, and he was trying to heat the house. In the summertime, you walk underneath one, it's like, oh man, am I in the Sahara? And it'd heat the house up, beyond what was comfortable. So he pulled them out. And having lived in Southern California, if I had this house, I would be, when I had the panels come up, I would have gotten rid of that sunlight thing to put skylight to put more panels on there. But you see, they can mount panels to your roof, or like some people do. If you watch Red Poppy Ranch channel here, hey Liberty Garden, hey Chivalrous Adventures. He had Red Poppy Ranch has a setup similar to this, but he has 3 of these out there. And I think he's got like twice as many panels on each one of his. Thank you, Kathy. So Kathy just posted the link again on the GoFundMe for homesteading, keto homesteading with Jess to help her save their homestead. Hey, Rebecca Nichols. All right, so yeah, several of them will set their panels up away from the house. That way they don't have to worry about damaging their roof when the panels are installed and stuff. Some like, they have porches and stuff, they'll put it on the porch so it's not on the main roof. Like this little off-grid cabin, I bet his panels are just to power his TV or his internet computer system, depending what type of dish that is. Now out in the desert, now here they mounted it nice and low to the ground. A couple reasons. One, to get a lot of wind out in the desert, and you don't want to get it getting caught and taken off like a kite. But they also get dust storms. And so this way they can go out and clean the panels easily. Use your brain, folks. Work smarter, not harder. All right, Keto Homestead. Let me put this up here. The GoFundMe is now up to 960, almost a 1/6 of the way there. And let's see the next one. Okay, water power. So water power is simple. Hey, there's a lot of small farms and stuff where they have streams and stuff set up water power system. They just have to have elevation enough to turn whatever type of power generation, whether it's a water turbine, whether it's a plenum wheel, whatever it is, to turn to generate the power. Now, if those of you who are not subscribed to Hidden Valley Homestead, that's Scott, my buddy, my brother from another mother. He's up in Bonner County, Idaho, up in the Panhandle, and he just bought a place up there that's totally off grid. And one of his videos is about checking out the water flow of the stream in the middle of winter when everything's practically frozen over and there's nothing's melting, so there's no new water coming to it hardly at all. He still had enough water flow that he calculated out he will be able, when he goes up there full time later this year, he'll be putting in a water generation system similar to this to generate power for his homestead up there. Interesting point about this. Unlike solar panels, this is 24/7. It works in the cloud when it's cloudy. It works when it's sunny. And the thing is, though, the amount of power he has to produce on this type system is about 1/3 of what his solar panel system needs to generate, and to produce the same amount of power. Because this produces all night long, this produces power all day long and keeps the battery charges when he's not pulling any electric on it. All right, next one. Well, some people say, well, what about heat? Well, I can relate to this one very good because this new house I bought is an all electric house. There's no gas to it, no propane. The furnace, you saw my video I posted yesterday. I showed the breakers for the electric furnace. It's got two 220 circuits to power the furnace. Fortunately, that's been off for about 15 years, hasn't been run because of what Brandon did to this house. Yes, and I'm going to show you. Well, Brandon put in a wood-burning stove, similar design to this one. But you can do, wood burning is one way to heat the house, to keep the house warm, so you don't have to use an electric furnace or even a gas furnace with an electric central air blower. And they even have those nice little devices that you can put on the top of the stoves, or magnetically stick them to the flue pipes. Then when it gets hot, it turns it makes a fan generation, and a fan generated fan power. But anyway, it blows hot air around.
Right.
So
it's thermodynamics.
Yes.
It makes the little thing. It's like the Stirling engine, the little light bulb. It spins around because of the heat molecules. Sorry about that.
Yeah. All right. And right now, all right, where I'm at in the house, I'm at the far end of the house away from the wood burning stove. And it is in this room here right now, it's 67 degrees. And I've had the door closed behind my green screen here for the last hour or so. So, yeah. All right, next. Well, what about hot water? Yes, this house has an electric hot water heater. We do have a timer on it because we're on the peak usage thing. So it turns off the power to the hot water heater at 7 o'clock in the morning and does not turn it on until 10 o'clock at night. That electric hot water heater that's in here, I can run the dishwasher once during the day, and I can go over to it, and it's still hot water coming out of there. I haven't tried running it and taking a shower, but there's during the day there's a lot of hot water that stays there, and at night when the electric heater comes on, if I'm not using hot water during the day, it only runs for about a half an hour, and it's hot. It's all heated up again, or if that, it just runs for just a little while. Now, I don't stand there and time it, but it's I can hear the sound when it's running, the water boiling and stuff. But
right.
Well, what about hot water? Oh yeah, what? Al, go ahead. What was that?
Liberty Garden says, is there a way to harness the heat of a wood stove to charge a battery bank? Yes, but it's going to cost you a pretty penny. It's called thermodynamics. They have a unit. The lowest one I can remember of will cost you about starting at $10,000 and going up to about $40,000 for just the wood stove.
Yeah, that's the unit. They do have a smaller version.
Yeah,
you love this. It looks like a little
pot.
No, I'm trying to think. Like a kettle, the kettle stove, the little camping stove.
Right.
About a small size of a charcoal briquette starter, and you get a little fire going into it. And it has a unit on the side of it, and it produces enough electricity to charge cell phones, run a laptop, stuff like that.
If you want to see that video, go to Hubble's Cat. He has one.
Yeah. All right. So what about hot water? Since I got an electric hot water heater, if I was going to do this, hey guys, anybody remember this from their grandparents? You got a little firebox on the bottom here, which can take either wood or coal. Hang on, I need to drop something out here real quick. Oh, yeah, Dave, Jetboil makes one as well. So with this, you get a little fire going in there, and it heats it up, and you get all this hot water. That's one system. This one is one of those do-it-yourself ones that is showed some ingenuity, and I've seen several of these. They take a 3/4 inch soft copper tubing, run it around the flue pipe, up and back into it, and this is the water heat dynamics on it. Basically, as it heats up, it flows up into it, and it pushes the cold water back down in, and the cold water goes down, heats up, goes back up, self-perpetuating. And technically, no, it's not a true self-presentation because the heat of the fire is doing it. So
right.
But yeah, it'll circulate it up. It'll give you water. You're not going to take a shower with these systems. You're going to take a bath, and you're not going to fill the bathtub all the way up. This is something my grandmother talked about when they got it back in the early 1900s on the farm up by Coeur d'Alene. they got a water jacket to go in their wood stove and a water tank. And basically it was a kit to add onto their wood stove they had. And basically you would do the same thing. You would heat it and the hot water would go up into the storage tank and round about. Yeah. So this is one way using a wood stove to heat your hot water. Another picture of a nice one. They got the nice 10-gallon container up there with a tap on it. Yeah, a little boiler tank. And hey, fill up the little wash tub and go to town.
Oh yeah.
This I found. This I just love because this shows ingenuity. They made a wooden hot tub, made a little wood heater here to heat their wooden hot tub. Recyclable homestead. Hey, how's it going? All right, Howie's going to be live tomorrow morning. Howie, what time tomorrow are you going to start your live? And that will be Pacific time he's going to give. All right, AB's Kitchen Recipes and Vlogs. Hey, how's it going? All right, so yeah, you can heat water off grid a number of ways.
Oh yeah.
And speaking of hot tubs and pools, hey, California's been doing this for longer than I've been married over 30 years. And so I would say 50 years ago, I saw these up on some of our neighbors' houses. And basically, the sun heats up the black tubing. And of course, the ones I saw, it wasn't painted white. It was painted black as well, absorb more heat. And they would circulate the water down in through the pool and heat up the swimming pool water. Really nice. Now, they also have some more modern ones here that really supercharge it. And in one of my other videos, I talked about the heat exchange for a hot water heater, where you have like a 50-gallon hot water heater, but it's only 40 gallons, but it's the size of a 50-gallon because it has this tubing network inside of it, where the water from the solar collectors here would heat up the water in the tank and get it up to, really hot. I mean, almost boiling. And, but, to the safe limits, they have settings on it. And so the newfangled ones, like that Country Talk newfangled, will get, froze again, are very efficient and will heat up the water really nice.
Right. Now, those, let's see, fishes and loaves. Yes, in the old days, everybody was trying to use the California system. Unfortunately, the California system on sort of a hot water heater did not work well in the South or in the East Coast. So the modern ones will do it. The previous ones that were based on the old California designs, not too hot.
Yeah. But the old California designs were designed specifically for California weather. However, like Steve at Corsair's Trainers found out several weeks ago, it's raining hard here. Yeah. Steve and I go back and forth. We tease each other all the time about California weather. So another thing there is, and there are about 6 major manufacturers of this now, these outdoor wood-fired boiler systems. This is a large one, which by the size of this door, you can actually toss oak pallets in there. This one's called a pallet burner. But they have small ones, mediums, large, extra large, pallet ones. And what it does is this is just a boiler. And then you have the water line goes underground. It's buried in an insulated pipe, goes over to the house. And once it reaches the house, it can be used for several things. One, it can be used to heat up the water in the house. Like I mentioned with that water heater with the tubing that's inserted into it. It can go to a furnace type unit that's similar to a air conditioning exchange unit, only instead of cooling, it heats. So you put it into your central heating unit and you can heat your house using this type of system here to wood fire to heat it up even in the summertime. So you have hot water. Now here's when it goes actually in the house, like in the basement or so. This is a wood fire boiler. Now you notice the size of this water tank behind the guy there, this huge tank. This is about a 300-gallon tank. This does not just heat the water for your shower and stuff. This heats the water for baseboard water heaters. And because you can tell by the plumbing system, this is set up for a big system over all these copper pipes off to the side. So this heats the whole house, heats the water, does everything. And here's a more limited version with the accumulation tank, and it heats up, and you can either run it for the heating the house and or for just heating the hot water. So if you can think it, you can do it. There are a lot of really cool homemade off-grid contraptions for providing power, providing heat for water and just heating the house, which are your two major things. Now, the one thing I haven't talked about, let me drop back over here. In all this, I went straight from producing electricity, and I went into the hot water thing because like an all-electric house has hot water heaters. What about lights? There is a great new thing that's come out here called LEDs, and they're getting even more efficient. Up here, LED light. That's bright light up there. Hey, Martha, old school preppers in the house. Oh, she got power back. Yay! She was without power in Oregon, folks. Okay. LED lighting cuts your usage down a lot. Most of the lights in this house, the overhead lights in all the rooms, Brandon had the little 60-watt equivalent fluorescent corkscrew tube, ones that you screw in. Those were running, trying to remember, I think they were 19 watts. These 60-watt LEDs are like 5.5 watts. That's a lot of savings right there. I changed out all of those 60-watt ones, which were the cool lights, kind of the yellowish glow, to the daylight LEDs. And
froze again.
It's so much easier to see around here and to do stuff with the LED lighting. It's so much clearer. My wife surprised the heck out of me when she said, get the daylight ones. I hate those yellow ones. She didn't, when we were getting another one, she didn't like them. But, once she saw the difference, and when she realized she was leaving the house one time, she thought she had a red shirt on, and it was a fuchsia pink shirt. She goes, oops, got to change shirts.
Night, Kathy.
Night, Kathy. All right. So with LED lights, if you have the 12-volt solar system, read at Manifestations of Imagination. Once again, that's Manifestation of Imagination. His whole house is on 12-volt power. He has all the solar panels, and he's converted everything. He's got these LED 12-volt lights. Some of the lights he has are the backup lights off of semis, the round ones about this big around that are all the LED. Those put out a lot of light, and are 12-volt. So if you can think it, you can come up with an idea to help get you off the grid, or at least limit your grid usage. Our goal, hey, Skinner Farms, our goal here in Idaho is to be able to have, I got the solar panels, we're going to be putting stuff up. I got the battery boxes, I moved them from California up here. We're going to be setting it up so we're on the grid, but if I need to, if the power goes out, I can just go out there, pull a transfer switch. I'm on my batteries. And since the whole house is on LED lighting, there's not one incandescent or fluorescent light left in this house. Guess what? the wattage is way down. So my solar system will be able to handle that. Now, as far as the running the computers and stuff, not really a problem because they don't draw that much. I used my kilowatt meter to test them out. In the wintertime, the fan on the wood burning stove is a 5-watt fan. And so that's nothing, when you got, so 21 times, you got 2,100 watts of power coming into the house from the solar panels. So, and then of course I do have my generator, my tri-fuel generator, so I can run gas, propane or natural gas through it. So as far as I can go off, I will be able to go off grid, hopefully by next winter, totally if I need to. But I want I want the convenience of both. I want my cake and I want to eat it too.
Right. But we forgot to cover another thing because I live in the desert is cooling and refrigeration.
Yeah. So for AC, there's another really great technology out there. And we've covered it about 20 times on different live streams and talked about it. The gentleman in Nebraska who heats and cools his house and his greenhouse, his Walipini greenhouse, geothermal. He has the tubes buried down 8 feet down. It has like 150 feet worth of tube buried in the ground and comes back up. So it just circulates the air and keeps his house and greenhouse at 68 degrees. And that's nice, comfortable temperature. I mean, I'm here 68 degrees here right now, and I got a thin shirt on, so I'm not cold. So there is a lot of ways you can take care of both heating and cooling and being off grid. And you can do both. You can set up, get this back up here. There we go. You can set up so you're on the grid and you have a backup off grid. So if something happens, it's not a catastrophe for yourself.
Right.
Hey, Tip Top Farm. Anybody? Oh, Ryan the Gamer's in the house. Hey, Ryan.
Now, I do warn a lot of people, if you do like freezers and refrigerators, please have a battery backup unit because a lot of people lost food because their system was only hooked up to the main power supply. If that kicks off, you want to have a battery bank with a timer because the freezer will stay cold for 6 hours. So basically, you want to just kick it on when it starts to defrost. And then it'll repeat the cycle and your food don't go bad instantly.
Yeah. So I'm going to retell a story here about that. Years ago, when I first got my first solar panels, they were from Harbor Freight. They were at the time, it was Harbor Freight's 45-watt system. It had 3 15-watt panels on it. Well, I had 6 deep cycle RV boat batteries. I had a little portable box I had it in. I could wheel it around. And I would take it down to the Peddler's Fair in downtown Martinez. I would set up my solar panels in front of the box there, facing south. And we had started out first for the CERT team and then for the Boy Scouts. We had a 7 cubic foot chest freezer full of ice cream. And we were selling it all day long, starting at 7 o'clock in the morning, going until 7 o'clock in the evening. And so that freezer is opening, close, opening, close, opening, close. Everything stayed frozen on it. The batteries at the end of the day were at 85% charge, which, when you consider everything and running the inverter and running the freezer and stuff, that's really good for 12 hours of usage opening and closing a freezer on a 45-watt system. So, you can do simple backups to protect your freezer, your refrigerator. You just can't open the refrigerator door and stand there, what do I want to eat for 5 minutes?
That gets most people, it's like hilarious, I tell you.
Yeah, I've seen people do it. It's like close the refrigerator door. But if you I don't know what I want, well, close the refrigerator door and think what you want, then open it up, grab it, and close the refrigerator door. It costs money to run that thing. But yeah, so I'm going to run this back really quick here. I'm not going to run the video again. But I'm going to place it in the chat here. This is Courtney's. Courtney's video for helping Keto Homestead with Jess. Make sure to get that right. That's the right one. So that's the video there to watch on it. It has in it the link to, I'm going to change, now I'm going to go large here, to the GoFundMe account to help out Keto Homestead with Jess. There, she's been injured, had received 2 back injuries, and yeah, so she's had 2 back injuries, and she's fighting to try to get her disability, and she basically we're trying to get $6,000 raised by I think it's April 1st. Just check to see if it's on the thing here. Courtney, I know Courtney put it in here. I just got to find it here. I think it's by April 1st. Or maybe it was in the email she sent me. Yeah. So, but to be able to stave off of them losing their homestead, and to get more information on what's going on, this is Jess's video. Where she explains about her back injuries and stuff. So, guys, if you have a chance, please help out. Yeah, Kaylin says April 1st. Yeah, so April 1st, we want to try to get enough money to help them, because Jess is really cool. I've been on her live streams. She moderates for a lot of channels. She helps people all the time, in this in this community get their channels going. She's helped Courtney a lot. She's helped quite a few people get their channels up and going. It'd be a shame to lose someone like that from our community. So those are the links for it. And guys, side chat, any questions on anything we talked about tonight? Oh, I like this. Carol says, we freeze water bottles to place in the fridge and freezer before a hurricane to have a bit of time to hook up the gas generator. Yeah, and a full freezer does not cycle on as much as an empty freezer. And it froze again. Same thing with a refrigerator. If it's almost empty, it's going to cycle a bunch because doesn't have solid mass to retain the coolness in it. All right. Okay, that's good. And smart drop. Okay, what drops say up here? Okay. Oh, he has several solar panels in his backyard. All right. Yeah. One of the things, if you're suspecting something's happened, save your juice bottles, your milk jugs, fill them 7/8 full of water and freeze them ahead of time. If you know, like hurricanes coming in a couple days, freeze them a couple days beforehand, so everything's kept in there colder. If you get a notification from the power company, excuse me, we're going to be doing work on the lines, and we're going to be turning the power off for 14 hours next Thursday. Yeah, freeze a bunch of make sure your refrigerator and freezer are packed.
Yep. Also, Blue Ice works too.
And Kayla said that's what saved her meat during the power outage last summer. Only lost some produce.
Now, folks, are we ready for?
That's a great idea here.
Which one?
Uses cardboard and quilts to insulate the freezer when the temperatures are over 100 degrees.
True.
Okay, I'm looking at the comments here. All right. You started to say something, Uncle Al?
Remember, folks, are we ready for round 2? And a lot of people are not because they don't know what Uncle Alan's saying. Usually after a big storm, what comes after a big storm? Another little storm. We have this one and a third one. And should hit either the south, the northwest, and northeast in a U-shaped pattern you would not believe in history. I'm sorry for the people in Oklahoma. Hope you got boats.
Yeah. All righty. We're getting up here on the end of the hour, so we're going to run some what's coming up here. So tomorrow night, Cajun Prepsteader is the name of the channel. That's Brett Broussard's other channel. Cajun Prepsteader is going to be going live tomorrow afternoon, evening. That's Central Time. So keep check the YouTube listing to see when he comes live. All I know is YouTube is trying to screw me over. Yes, YouTube, you're trying to screw me over. I have not gotten a notification of any videos for the last 3 days. The only thing I get is YouTube saying, YouTube has updated this website in the background, and I'm not getting nothing from them. So I'm not sure if that's happened to anybody else, but check the either the Cajun Prepsteader's channel or the YouTube and look for what's coming up live yet. And so for tomorrow night for him, Monday morning is hopefully Steve will be back. That's Corsair Trainers, the Island of Misfit Toys, followed by immediately by JIT Preparedness-Info. That's Will doing that. Tuesday, Tactical Tuesday. Our topic on Tactical Tuesday is knives, the right one for the right job. And we're talking about all sorts about knives. You don't want to be using your K-bar knife to cut that loaf of fresh bread that just came out of the oven.
Or if you carry it in the wrong part of Tokyo, London, New York, you might get shot by somebody. He looked like a terrorist.
Yeah, he had a big knife.
Yeah, I was slicing a piece of bread. Shoot him.
Yeah. Next Wednesday at 7:30 Mountain, so that's 9:30 Eastern, is Courtney at Wide Family Farm doing her one. Courtney, you still in here?
No, she left.
She left. I saw her sitting having a great. I hope she was hanging around for a second. I'm not sure who she's going to be interviewing, but then at 11 o'clock Eastern, Kiko Homestead with Jess hosts the pajama party.
Yep.
Closed again. And so go ahead and check out Kiko Homestead with Jess next Wednesday at 11 Eastern for the pajama party.
Right, because on Courtney's list, it's either another grow person or Japanese YouTuber from Japan.
I think it's a Japanese YouTuber.
Could be the Japanese YouTuber because I keep losing count.
Yeah. And then next Friday, on the Friday night special, is foot protection. Flip-flops? Really? So that's what's coming up, folks. And it is now 8 o'clock. So we're going to go ahead and cut this out. And his last word is stay happy, stay safe, stay prepared, and we'll see you in the next one around.